Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, everybody. It's wonderful to see you all virtually. I'd love to be able to do it in person, and to see how your communities are going and how your families and life is progressing. In New South Wales, it's been a very difficult period. Look, thank you to the Islamic Practice and Dawah Circle for inviting me to speak at your AGM. I'm encouraged that even in the midst of this terrible pandemic, organisations like yours can still find ways to rally and come together to discuss important issues. I want to acknowledge some dignitaries today, including the Grand Mufti and members of the Australian National Imams Council. It's incredible to consider the humble beginnings of this organisation and what it's now grown to become. Islam is the third largest religion in Australia and one of the fastest growing. Most Muslims in Australia live here in New South Wales, so it's no surprise that the IPDC had its origins in this state. Like so many of our community organisations, I know that your group began small, with families and friends gathering together in a house in the suburbs of Sydney. They came together with shared questions: how they could practice and celebrate their religion in their newly adopted country, how they could explain their faith to their children, but in an Australian context in a different country. These are questions that many communities of diverse cultures and faiths grapple with across Australia. We're a proud multicultural society. It's not always easy for communities to understand their culture's place in Australia. New migrants can find it challenging to leave their extended families, their networks behind in their previous countries, their countries of origin. Many may feel isolated and without support. So it's organisations like yours that are so important. They provide space for people to practice their faith, to celebrate their culture, while delivering practical support to migrant communities in their new home. The first centre was established in St Mary's in Western Sydney, and to now operate centres in Melbourne, Perth, Adelaide, Logan and Canberra. It's clear that the myriad community activities, with all your many community activities, that you're changing lives every day, both big and small. Education and learning, food banks, community services, migrant support, multi-faith dialogues, even something as simple as a children's play group, and of course prayer sessions are so important in terms of community cohesion and bringing groups together. These are tremendous efforts, and I congratulate all the members of the IPDC and your families for your great contributions you are making every day. I want to acknowledge in particular the work the group is doing to promote and encourage civic engagement of Muslim Australians, especially young people. The IPDC does critically important work teaching young Muslim Australians to take pride in their faith and their culture, as well as embracing the particular Australian liberal democratic traditions that we know and we love. And I know many of you have come to Australia precisely because of these liberal democratic traditions. There are some people who claim these two things are at odds, but they fail to understand the values underpinning both Muslim faith and organisations like yours. I've got every confidence that the work your organisation is doing today will lay the foundations of a fairer and more harmonious Australian society. It'll inspire the next generation of proud, civic-minded Muslim community leaders. And I want to thank the IPDC and many other Muslim organisations that have supported their communities in the COVID-19 health crisis. I pay tribute to that work. I've seen it firsthand in Western and Southwestern Sydney, whether it's packing and delivering food hampers to vulnerable families and individuals, or interpreting these complicated community health orders into different languages and different contexts to make sure that everybody can abide by the rules and keep themselves and their families safe. Look, I think this is a wonderful organisation. I firmly believe in rebuilding Western and Southwestern Sydney. It needs to be done hand in hand with local communities and local organisations like yours. We want to support what you're doing. It will be tough to rebuild after the last 15 weeks, but I'm confident that we can get there. And on behalf of the New South Wales Labor Party, I wish you all a successful and enlightening conference today. And I hope and pray that we can meet again in person very soon.